Where? Hayi ba umnisi. Hayi ba umnisi, guys. Listen, he's playing the game. He is playing the game, umnisi. We may not understand. Guys, Genani. We need to talk about this. My name is NoniM Podcast. Welcome to my channel. Hi, Abel. How are you doing, sir? Guys, Gena ulike, come in and like. Hi, Auntie CK. Guys, I understand that we are angry. I'm not impressed myself, right? I'm really not impressed with Umnisi. However, what if there are so many things, there are so many what ifs that I'm going to what if ne? First of all, what if they got to him and they were like, you better recuse yourself for Umnisi. Wait, nah, don't represent. What if they got to him? The handlers of the case, what if they got to Missy and he's scared for whatever reason? What if? Because being ready, I don't think it's an issue. Number one, what if they got to him? What if? Number two, the other problem that we have here is they forced Sibia to choose a lawyer between those ones instead of giving Sibia a leeway to choose his own lawyer. Yes, a new lawyer would have been better. And also, they should have chose someone else. When we say that, we are not saying that they should have let him go and find out a lawyer outside, but they should have gave him a new lawyer from legal aid still. And then what if Omnis is playing the long game that Ibaloi has been playing here? He wants I choose number one to go and get a new lawyer, and yeah, now that's why he's playing this. Because Omnis was like, if you are going to force me to be ready by Tuesday, then that means I will need to excuse myself. So we don't know what game is being played here. I before blaming Minisi too much and be whatever, bottom line is Umnisi should have never accepted this. It's irritating. He should have never accepted if you. But then again, we're not lawyers. We don't know. Lawyers could have been saying a lot. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what's happening, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But that being said, if Umnisi is not playing any game and he is serious about needing more time, Aibo, 2 months, it's almost 3 months now, because 2 months and 3 weeks. 2 months, 3 weeks. It's either Umnisi wants to resign because he is perhaps threatened. I'm not saying that's the case. If not, Umnisi, no, I choose number one, abavumelane on how to run his defense, because Umgomezulu had his own defense saying that I choose number one did not do this, and he was forced into confession, if you guys remember. And now Umnisi, okay, and the Umgomezulu was saying that my client did not do this, and we know who did it. And this one, Umnisi maybe goes to I choose number. When it goes to Umnisi goes to I choose number one and says, my defense will be, you did not do this. I don't know who did it. He's not using Gomezulu's strategy. So there's a lot of things that could be playing in the back. What if Umnisi I choose number one are not in agreement on how to defend him? What if? What if? And also, what if Umnisi is playing the long rope? What if Umnisi indeed is might come back next Tuesday saying that and easy and get the reliever from the case? What if? Yeah, crispy. He's dealing with them. He must take his time. We will see Tuesday what's going to happen, if he's going to excuse himself from the representing her. And then it's still going. And the way Uraja said that it's just a murder case. I know. We will see, guys, what's going to happen. We will see. I'm not happy, but it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. It's not going to help being emotional about the entire situation. It is what it is. Yes, Dan. So there's a lot. Umgomezulu did his own research. Umnisi is not Umgomezulu. So Umgomezulu had about Dr. Batsane. Umgomezulu had people that are going to come. So if those witnesses are not in alignment with Umnisi, yep, it could be that Umnisi is struggling to get the same people from Umgomezulu. It could be that there are threats that are doing the things. So Umnisi, if he doesn't secure those witnesses, what must he do? What must he do? So it's looks like this year this case might take longer. I guess even next year we are right. I don't know if if Mnisi is being forced, he is going to resign being accused number one's lawyer if he is being forced. But Turata didn't even ask Mnisi now how long does he need. He just gave him until Tuesday. Why didn't he ask him? Yo, at some point I felt like Judge Rata was right about the things that he was saying, but it is what it is. So sizobona. I hope Umnisi is playing so that this guy can get another lawyer and none of them must agree to take him on. Sure, yes, maybe. Guys, listen to this.
We are hypocrites. We are hypocrites, and we are selective in what we're doing. Now, my argument, I did was
Guys.
this year, January. Nothing even at December. I don't see why Unis is taking this case, because no other lawyer will have done this thing what he said. And I also said I do not see Unis ready.
Can you hear, guys?
Because for Unis to be ready, it needs to have gone through to all what Ngomezulu may have said, the version that he may have said. And the strategy some Ngomezulu may not be necessarily the strategy that goes to Mrs. Firm. You see, lawyers and their firms, they've got their own way that they want to do things. Now, it cannot be imposed to this thing and saying that, you know what, this is what I wanted to do. And there's no way that Uspia will turn now and say, no, but Ngomezulu has already given me a chance. Umakubo came on the stand and agreed and supported one version. What people don't understand is the 2019 version of Uspia remains true. If that version remains true, that means all the other nonsense that has come before Rata remains a nonsense. Now, tell me, if Umakubo agrees, no, number one, which yes, it was called the chlorocorp. So what does it mean? I need to Uzungu, Nabo Kininde, Nabo Muhola, they disagree which Uspia ever went to chlorocorp. Man, if you have Uspia or Lishabane and Makubo confirming Gucci, Uspia was there in chlorocorp, the information as was saying Uspia Behamba no number 5. Threatening him to kill him. Then Makuba says, no, it can't be true. Now, South Africans, Ngiyamthanda ne. I love you dearly. Now, I grew up in between different age groups. So it makes me, Oguti, I may have engaged with people who are now up to 78 years. And I've also engaged with people who are as young as 24 years in their jobs of security and whatever. So now, being in the middle there, I've somehow understood certain things, how things happen. The joke that you sing in court, it's not because of me. See, why he was so quick before the adjournment? He was so quick to tell you that if you saying Tuesday, then I'm backing out. Because they've already created his own statement with why he should collapse the case. They're collapsing the case because they cannot stomach the nonsense that has happened in that court. The best way to deal with this thing is to collapse the case. My shape and your people, but we're going to continue doing the work that we're doing, and we're going to continue analyzing these things truthfully and telling it nonsense as it is, my shape. We're not going to stop tolerating these things. Obano needs to be held accountable by legal aid. How can they spend so much money for this thing? Omnisi had all the other channels. They could not wait for the 14 to tell him. Why they did not tell Urata last week and saying that, you know what, we said the 14. Then they will have appeared today as formalities of what's going to happen. Or they will have went through and saying,
please like the live,
we're going to proceed with this section. Or can we stand down the witness, the evidence of Colonel Kinin, like they've done with Lokuzan, like they've done with Umangena before, and continue with other witnesses? But no, they've realized it now. They've beaten more than what they will chew. It can't be. I'm standing there.
Yeah, forget guys. Good try. This is a strategy. They are trying to collapse the case because ibaxakile. Wena ke olthandlovu uyosala lapho uyisilima sesiphunguphungu. Thina lana we're dealing with izinto ezenzekalayo behind the scenes, people that know. With people that know, Kesana, we don't have time for your nonsense. We do not have time for your nonsense. Guys, kunzima kule case, inzima case yona, guys. It's a very hard case. Inzima. So, yo, kwaze kwashushu enkantolo. Kwaze kwashisa bo.
Professional. I'm saying that unless if he comes back and tell us that no, I've told the judge last week, which you know, what I've planned for, it's not going my way. But you cannot come on the day and then we learn as if the judge is learning on the day what this thing is happening. No, you cannot learn today which Umnisi is struggling about the things. No, they're conflicted jokes. They're conflicted. And people, we need to stop being hypocrites, guys. We must not be hypocrites about this thing. We must, you see, when you love a person, we must love the defense so much which we are open to criticize them. And we must criticize them. It can't be. We cannot wait 3 months to be told today, no, you're not ready. Where else you were saying 1 month, you were given more than that. Orat has got his own things. But no, if he said something, now if he rules, then Omnis now is dragging another water coming through for him. They're gonna send him to the LPC because lento yakhe ezobeyenzile bazoyijudge as judiciary misconduct. What in that i-judiciary or legal what lezi zinto zakhona ngazi uthini yona le. Hayi ngihlala phansi una jokes ngalowo mbuzo yama-legal.
But Orata uthi Umnisi if he's not ready on Tuesday. Usibia, you will ask the question direct to Gininda if you listen to Rat.
Hayi.
No,
Uthe
that won't
uzodecide.
happen. They will have to give him another chance. It's not his fault that Muniz is leaving. So
Yeah, that is why I was saying Rata is also being emotional about it, to say if Umnis is bowing out, then Usbia will have to cross-examine Ugininda. So Ratana is emotional about the whole thing.
nah, that won't happen. Let's give you an inspector a chance. My inspector.
Good morning, family. Good morning, family. Good morning, everyone. Been a long time, Shivas.
Yeah, man, how's it?
I'm all good. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone is doing well. Yeah. And I've been following. It's just that I haven't been so active. But anyway, just to get to the topic, I think two things, Shivas. One, I think Mnisi needed to have realized that there are two things involved, or perhaps just to correct Dukes, there are two things involved here. The first one is procedure. There's a procedure when there are postponements, and I think on a number of issues, Mnisi got it wrong. If he knew that he was going to be unable to present the case today, he was actually supposed to have written to the court, I was thinking about last week, just to let them know that given the fact that he's got so much to do, he's still unable to proceed today. And yes, indeed, today when they said they were just going to sit and maybe do housekeeping, state that he's unable to proceed, they received their email and all of that. So it was going to be somehow cleaner than how it looks now. He knows, and it's a procedural matter. The second aspect is the aspect of dynamics of the case. Dynamics of the case have nothing to do with today's delay, and it has nothing to. It is nothing really to hold on to. The main thing is just procedure. I felt with Mnisi just bit too much for him to chew. He was not supposed to have taken this case in the first place. I would have appreciated if this case was handled by a different person. Yes, there are positives or there are advantages of him or any legal practitioner holding on to this case because they have been part of this case for a long time and probably they might have had a particular thought while the case was proceeding, of which they would be able to, deal with in the process. But since things have happened the way they have, I feel he has bitten a lot and he's unable to chew it. And unfortunately, there's no point in him raising what he was supposed to run a comrade marathon and he had to forfeit it. I agree with Ukoi because the first thing with him, there are different angles of this case that he needed to have understood. So if there are 20 chapters or 20 issues that he needed to go read about, he would cross-examine on 2 of them that he has read about namhlanje. At least the issue of arrest. For example, the issue of arrest and investigation. I don't think it was wrong for him to have just started with that. Instead of just collapsing everything and saying, no, I'm not ready. He's not ready about what? The introduction or the end. And then he tells us what he's not ready. No. I think what Mnisi humbly so is really wasting cost time in this case. He's wasting cost time. He just needs to let go of representing number one. Anikezele is somebody else. Humbly so. I agree with the fact that had it been a lawyer who is currently in the defense, it would have been an advantage. But unfortunately, they are busy also with representing their own clients. So biting more than what they could chew now is going to cause more delays. So they just need to bring in a new lawyer. Otherwise, we're going to sit like this again. Like, you see, today,
Please
Rata
like the
said,
live, guys.
let's come back next week, Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday, he's still going to say, I'm not ready. And obviously, I mean, we saw that he said he's not going to be ready anyway. And therefore, he says he's likely to recuse himself on that basis. So, I think we are going to have another delay. Rata is going to say, number one, we'll need to speak to legal aid for you to consider appointing a different lawyer. And what is your view? And after having identified that particular lawyer, they are now going to, be given another month or two for them to consider, all the evidence and all of that, and be able to represent number one. So that's basically what's going to happen, Shibas, in conclusion. But fact of the matter, Uguti, on procedural issues, I think Mnisi got it wrong. And in terms of the facts of the case, I don't think they apply in this case. He was just supposed to focus on the simplest points he could raise with Undogat. Because there are points that, there are points that he cross-examined Lomjita on while number one was being, while number one's case was
Please
being
like the live, guys.
handled by Undogat Kenel Kinenda. So I don't think he's supposed to really continue with this. Let me rest for now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Inspector. The thing is, I'm just thinking, Rata at some point needed to take a stand. Like any other judge, and this for me has nothing to do with Rata. TH, can you meet there? Rata had to take some stand, because if you're going to leave it to the lawyer to decide how long he wants, how long is going to be long? If Nisi wants another 3 months, should Rata just accept, and then Nisi comes back again and say, hey, I found something else and now I need another 3 months. Rata must just accept. For me, I don't know. I don't agree with Nisi, and I don't think he should come and represent when he's not ready. And if he feels the case is too much for him, that's fine. He can excuse himself and then Syria get someone else. But for me, the indefinite postponement because now you want to prepare, for me, it doesn't work like that. It's not about him, it's not about the state, it's not about the accused, it's about everyone else. Because as much as he needs to represent Sibia to the best of his ability and take enough time to prepare for his case, but what about other people? Ntanzi is there. Ntanzi is not serving any sentence. He's just sitting there waiting for the case to end. But with this kind of postponement, he is not going to go anywhere. He will be in jail, waiting for the case to end, but needs wants indefinite postponement. So for me, he needed to balance. Because for me, he's not a new lawyer in this case. There's a lot that he knows about this case. So to connect the dots, it doesn't take him time because he has been in this case for some time. Even here, as TikTok lawyers, there's a lot that we connect without having a file, docket, nothing. There's a lot that we are able to connect. So I really don't know how long was going to be enough for him. Unfortunately, Rata didn't ask him how long he wanted. But at some point, a judge needs to take a stand because he's in charge of the case. The court, he needed to make a decision for this case to move. So I really don't know how long was going to be enough for him. TH, are you there? Stimo, you can come in. I don't think TH will talk.
Hey, how's it, guys?
No.
Yeah, I'm actually, I'm in 2 months, right? I'm in 2 months about this thing.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna go wild. My first wild thought is that Umnisi knows exactly what he's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's doing. This was a deliberate Umnisi knew that this is how the judge will rule. There is no way that a trained, experienced lawyer or advocate, not from Temu or Alibaba, who's been sitting in the court, will be given 2 months plus and come back and say, hey, Angas. So, I think by Umnisi demanding what is demanding, they are pushing for the judge to actually postpone the case further. Insofar as, if not, there is a lawyer, maybe they want to join this case and then further postpone this case. I think this was deliberate move. I don't think a professional person who is an LPC member would do such. This case is not a case that is just in chambers. It is publicized, and it's got an interest of many people in South Africa. I don't think even Monisi, for his image, he would want to do that. So, on the wild side of things, not disagreeing with anybody who has said anything before, even you when I joined, I'm just, going on a detour. I'm just off-ramping. I'm thinking that Monisi, he wants to be either. There's something here. There's something. He might look very stupid and odd, but I think these guys, they wanted this. This is the outcome they wanted. For the judge to be pissed off, to postpone it, because Umsimis is saying, going as far as, if you're telling me that Tuesday I must come, I might as well withdraw. If he withdraws, then they get somebody else. Then we're going to wait for another 2 months for that person to take over, to do what? There's going to be now an official postponement again, where this guy is going to say, hey, for me to cross Exemanu Gininda, I need 3 months. You and I were just talking earlier before the trial started. We were talking about this trial after June or July for a new lawyer. So I think my wild thoughts tell me it's a game. It's a strategy, it's a game. Might look stupid and frustrating, but there's something these guys they want on the system. I don't know what is it. I don't
Mashiba.
know. I can't tell you.
It's live on TikTok, Mashiba.
Lawyer will go to the court and say I was not ready for 2.5 months.
Okay. King and Shivas, I'm sorry to kick you on your throat in Sesotho. I'm kicking you on your throat by jumping like this. We have so many cases in court today, in courts across the board, waiting trial because lawyers are not ready. We have so many cases, and this is a problem that we have in South Africa. It's not the first case where we have a lawyer saying, I'm not ready. Many cases of GBV, serious cases of GBV, serious cases of murder, serious cases of all sorts of things. And a lawyer comes and says, sorry, I'm not ready. And the person is busy wasting time and occupying space in already filled prisons, wasting court time, and many other things that I can say, including at the end of it all, to say, no, we didn't have evidence to prosecute this person, we don't have enough evidence, therefore we're going to let the case go. So I strongly feel that in as much as this might be a game, but we don't have time for games. I'm sorry about that. We don't have time for games. I just wish he could just get straight to the point, inform the court on time, let them know that he's unable to proceed, if indeed he's unable to proceed, or else just sit down. Give somebody else, like Utolanz was saying one other day, Utif was saying he was going to come back. Give Utif for space then to take over on number one. That's how it is supposed to go. Otherwise, we don't have time for these games, unfortunately. We we don't have time for these games as a society, from a societal perspective anyway. But as the case itself, yeah, maybe it might be game. It might be something that he has thought of, but it's not fair. In the bigger scheme of things.
I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I was just going on a wild side. That's why I said I'm going on I'm offending for a reason. And just coming back to the judge, this is what I don't understand in this environment, the legal system. My understanding would have been, I think I've mentioned this, maybe I'm rhyming this thing now, when I said the judge could have a month later said, Missy, we're going to call you back here 3 weeks or 4 weeks later, a month later. There will be a special sitting for you to tell us how far are you winning, are you losing. How can you wait at the last hour and come and say, hey, Missy, how's it? It's like you are showing me your bras in the street. This is a formal process. So where is the work in progress? To check how far is the car, are you winning? I don't think I'll make it with another additional month. Can I get 2 more months or come back on the next page? Then let them argue it in court and argue and decide. But the judge waits at the last hour to get this result. I don't know how those people work, but if I was in a private sector or in my own business and I've got a project like this, I was going to check the status to say, okay, fine, right? We gave you time. We are in the middle of that time. How far are you going to meet a deadline? And yes or no? And give reasons why you can, why you cannot. And done. This is crazy. And these people, they call themselves Leonard Frank, Leonard this, Leonard this. I don't know.
But guys, what if I agree with Ustim with the things that he said earlier when he first started talking. And then what if Umnisi is playing? Ustim likes to say Usmanban is playing the. Sorry, Ulona is playing the game, Umnisi, and then while he is playing the game, what if like Ukoi said, Ukuti defense is the issue. What if? And what if there are people that threaten Umnisi? Because this case is dirty, guys. We are not going to sit and pretend as if it's not. It is a very dirty case. It's like politics. It's very dirty. The game that is being played here also is very dirty on this case. So there's a lot of things that could have happened, because my interest is in him being very quick to say, well, if you are going to say, first he says he doesn't know how much he needs. And then secondly, he says, well, if you are going to force me to be ready by Tuesday, then I will have to excuse myself. Then the judge insists and is making a ruling that on Tuesday they are coming back and Mnisi needs to be ready. Mnisi says nothing. Mnisi says nothing. He keeps quiet. He does not stand on business of saying that, well, as I said, my lord, I won't be ready by Tuesday. So that, because that part of him saying that he is excusing himself if he is being forced for Tuesday, he should have stand on that line and say, I am recusing myself right now. Why didn't he do that? So there's a lot of things that are going on here that we are not seeing. They are happening behind the scenes, in my view. Because he needed to be like very firm in his stance of saying, I will be excusing myself if I'm being forced. I'm not coming back. Why? So he's making us ask a lot of questions and be curious or what's going on, or accuse him of certain things, because this was almost 3 months, guys. 2 months and 3 weeks. That's almost 3 months. Exactly how much a new lawyer would have needed for him to come back and say he's not ready. And I agree with you, Stimo. Why only now are we going to get that? Why didn't they have in between this? Because they could have come back in March to check on Nisi. How far are you? Is everything going well for you? So that they understand. They could have come back also. Maybe the second week of March, the last week of March, or even the first week of April, so that by the time today comes, he's like, no, guys, I'm not ready. Why? Now we are supposed to sit here and speculate of what could have happened, why it did not happen, why is that and this, which is also not fair. Not fair when it comes to the Meyiwa family, when it comes to the public, when it comes to even the accused, especially Ubongani Danzi, who's not serving any sentence. This case needs to end at some point. I wish, as Benjabulo was saying, that maybe this is a ploy to collapse the case. It better collapse. It better collapse because this is tiring now. Then again, lastly, who reads a Bible in 2 months? Who can read the book of the Bible in 2 months? I'm gonna leave on that.
Yeah, thanks, Noni. I heard you. When you were saying what if, I was thinking of that chain. What if God did it? What if I was in Wara Wara? A lot of what ifs. But to me, I feel that sometimes you must call a spade a spade. I think Nisi today, I was disappointed. I hesitate. I'm on the verge of saying it's a bit of incompetence, really. I want to be frank and sincere. Because the last time he came, he gave the court and all of us the impression that he would be ready in 2 months. As a professional, it's his prerogative. Should he not have, been ready? Perhaps you have communicated it already via, they have their own means to speak in chambers or meet the judge in chambers and not waste time of gathering and all that. I feel he really was disappointing. He really is because he gave, they asked him, say how long you need. He said 2 months. He gave himself the target. Now he comes and says it's too much. I unfortunately didn't hear it at the tail end, how it ended and how they agreed on how to proceed. But prima facie, at the face of it, really, it's disappointing. It's unfair also on Muzi himself, because you don't take up a cross while I'm in custody. Of course, he's serving for other cases, but imagine if it was the only issue he's serving for. You don't take up a case or take up a cross that you won't carry, in good time, that I feel supported. And if he's saying he needs to read, he needs to prep, they are key and petty. It's only one witness. It's not like, of course, once he reads, he must read the entire case, because they won't stop again to give him another opportunity to read. But he knows that the state is at the end of their trial. It's only about putting those issues to Kininda alone and then preparing the defense case. If Malloy doesn't come in 10, and I don't think he will 10, you wouldn't put more than one witness after, if at all, after Kininda. So to me, for the first time, I must say, this particular one, the demonstration of incompetence, mustn't mind the words. That's what I think.
Yeah, thanks, Pink. Okay,
I hear you, Pink. You see, Noni, as we're all saying these things, and it's very sad. Hence, I'm saying it doesn't make sense. It's either Uratala is feeling being played by all the people that are before him, 7 people who are before him. The 6 people, 2 from NPA and 4 from the defense. Is it guys something that is currently happening there? There's no other reason why this will come back and say it's not ready. And the only way to do that is Rata says this thing, and then now they want to sabotage Rata. That's what Rata now is feeling, which have been played. And Balona is not saying anything. But Balona, okay, something is legal aid, they agreed in court, Uchi, maybe Umnis is not being paid. That's why he could not read. You understand? Because everything has to do with your money. You see, lawyers, your case is as agent as the money in your account. That's how lawyers view your agent mate. If your mate is agent, the money must be in their account. So now I'm thinking there's a gap there. But I think maybe it's just too modest to actually tell us, no, how can I read if I'm struggling, if I'm not being paid? I think that's really what it is. Because that's why it's saying, anyway, I can go. You can't leave if you've already been paid for their work. How can you stop? Read, guys. You must read between the lines. How can you stop? You can't walk away if you've already been paid.
sorry for those who have jumped in the queue. James earlier said people are being hypocrites. I agree with him. Guys, let's not forget that the same Rata, he was willing to give Gininda 2 months of study leave without even having the study timetable. We mustn't forget, guys. We must record everything as it happens. Rata was willing to give Gininda 2 months of study leave without even having a schedule or a timetable confirmed by the institution or university that Rata is attending. So what about who's having 60,000 pages before him? The person who's willing to prepare thoroughly for his client. I'm just putting there to say Rata can play for both teams and not play equally. That is my point.
Let's be fair also on Rata. Rata gave Messi the time.
Yeah, guys. Thank you so much, guys. I was listening there. It is what it is, ne? We'll talk about this again. I'm gonna invite these guys to come here on our live, and then we will hear what they have to say. Thank you so much for being here. Sizobona ukuthi senza kanjani because uTuesday now will come. Tuesday will come. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm gonna invite these guys that are talking there to come and for us. Ne? Thank you so much. Let me read your comments. You guys have been the guys that are not liking, can you please like? There's too much comments, guys. Hi to everyone that is here. But you guys heard the people, the things that they were saying. Do you guys want to still stay and listen?
Be careful when somebody says, I'm educated. Just say, okay, fine, sharp. Then what? Because I'm going to repeat again. There is no way you give a person 2 months without you checking up on them. There's no way. There needs to be time for the progress.
While listening, can you guys hear?
Where are you? What are your studies? Are we going to get the result at the end? It is a one-on-one question, a one-on-one. Now, you come there in court, like today, televised national, what is JP? Even if I was the Chief Justice, I would be pissed to the core. Pissed to look at how we do not, because this translates to all the delays that we see in courts. There is something in management of these matters that is not gelling. Somebody need to sit down and say, okay guys, this is how we've been working, but what can we do to streamline the processes? Because it's just crazy, pathetic. Then a person will come 2 months later and say, you know what, just scratch your head and say, I'm not ready. What? 2.5 months later, you scratch your head and say, I'm not ready. And here is the thing. If you go further,
Can you guys hear?
the judge don't even bother to listen to say, okay, fine, you're not ready. How far did you go? Why can't you not ask them? All of us sitting here, do we know whether missing is 20% out of 100% or is 80% out of 100%? So that means you can say, Judge, I am 70%. And I need now I need 30% to complete
I slappy.
what I need to complete. And then the judge will say, that 30%, how long do you need? Then he's going to say, I need a month to finish my 30%. Then we are talking. The judge will say, hey, it's like kids fighting, it's like my twins here in the house. They're fighting about candy. Hey, that one, hey, grape here, hey, grape. Hey, Mniss, hey, Monday I want my candy. It's crazy. Did he ask how far is the Mniss? No. So on Tuesday, only then, when they are fighting, having a kilo fight, we're going to understand how far is the Mniss. Oh, I'm actually 50%. What? I'm afraid. If this is how our systems are running in South Africa, no wonder the courts are chock-block or jammed with cases. It's simple matters like this that can be managed. If they need to outsource
TikTok name is Mashiba.
something, put administrators there. There's plenty of people who are looking for jobs in South Africa to manage and advise judges on such matters. This thing is very easy. Very easy. Call a person. How far are you? This is the situation. How long do you need? Argue it. Decide on it. Nisi will quit. You still have a month and a half for the accused to find a new representative. Come back a week later. Address the court. Get 3 months for a new counsel. The trial starts after June. There's progress. This is nonsense.
Yeah, it's not even Rata's duty to check on Nisi, whether how far are you and all those things.
Exactly.
Johnny, you'll come in. It's not his duty to check on him. If Nisi felt he miscalculated, the work is too much, at least go back to the state in the court to say, guys, I know I said 2 months and whatever would be enough. But when I started reading, there's a lot that I find out, and there's a lot that I still need to do. So can you also give me another month or something like that? Then there's something. We can complain that it's taking time, but at least he communicated and people are aware of what's happening. But now when we have to continue, you come in court and say you're not ready. Hey, yeah, no.
Just before somebody comes in, sorry. Mashiba, do you recall the same exercise was done? Was it in Nice again, where the court had a special sitting?
Yeah.
I'm asking for the same thing. There was supposed to be a special sitting to check how far is that dude. As they did, I think earlier this year, there was some special sitting for even, I think it was less than 30 minutes. They said check on Umnisi. I think I can't recall exactly, but there was some special sitting. I'm referencing my point to that. They could have done the same thing 2 months later, a month later. Yeah. Just to check on him and special sitting. So that if Umnisi, as Ujabulo has struggled his payment issues, we don't know, right? We're all now throwing everything in a basket somewhere. If Umnisi is not being paid and is not motivated to work, then let me say, my lord, I can't proceed reading pages because Ubaloila on my right has not paid me. So how do I continue? I don't even know.
It's the whole of evidence.
According to illegal aid, who accused number 1, he has now forfeited his right to be represented by legal aid.
No, it's the evidence that was done, so like of the trial itself.
Or in the same bracket.
Those are the transcripts.
I'm having difficulty.
It's the transcript of the trial itself.
Jabulo is saying,
The
we will only
16
find out about it
pages.
on Tuesday, which is another waste of time. You see? Yeah.
I guess everyone on the panel spoke, so whoever wants to have Johnny left.
Okay. Johnny, come back. Sorry that we kept you waiting a bit of a while. Maybe not to continue flogging the dead horse. As to say, usually, I would expect a professional to be a good communicator. I think the issue here is a communication issue. Feels to us like a waste of time as well. I'm sure it should feel the same for the court. He could have communicated. You cannot expect the court to follow up on you. That's not the role of the court. He must communicate where he has challenged, where he has not been paid. It must be clear. It must be transparent. He said that I have not received. I've heard people in court. They have not received financial instructions or legal aid was supposed to follow up with something that I signed to commit myself, and they have not done so despite several follow-ups. You cannot create a mystery. So you must be clear and direct. I think for today, we take the blow. It doesn't mean it's the end
of everything. Today didn't look too tidy. It can come right on Tuesday when they come back. But today to me, no.
Ngicela ukubuza Pinky.
Mm.
Le 40, it wasn't the page is 40k. Why is it 60k today?
Go to 60k kanjani. Turata says he read them all and finished them.
Okay, wait. Also, this part, your 60k, 40k pages, is it only directed, is it transcript directed to evidence pertaining to Sibiya, or is it the entire trial?
It's the entire trial.
Oh, okay.
It's the entire trial.
No, I'm asking because now they are talking about 60k. Didn't you hear, Baloy?
Yeah, I heard them say 60k.
Okay.
But my point is, now 60k, out of the 60k, he's not picking, he must pick things that relate to Kininda, which are important things. I know they involve the arrest, how things have traversed. But for example, he'll be straightforward to know that under Pinky, there's nothing he can really put on Moses. There wasn't much on Moses 205. There's not much to put to Kininda. Well, I personally would not know the amount of work he did. What I'm at fault with is you make a target for this song. Let's not meet on this day. How do we extend? I will need more time. I find it problematic when you return and it seems like you are not sure. You are blaming the work. You are not blaming yourself. That way you don't grow as a professional. You must look at yourself to say, I could have communicated earlier about ABCD. Or this is the standing, I've not been paid, I've not been instructed well, I'm not able to proceed. So that's the only thing. I hope on Tuesday you will be ready, obviously.
Can you guys hear?
Because clearly the pages are now alone.
Yeah. You know, I think there's something that you're saying here, sis, which is very sad. Ukuthi we are fighting lana against a person who set a target. And then the target doesn't meet. I mean, I have ran through lives. It's impossible. You know what? You cannot be in a position because how do you argue on conspire to commit these charges, over 5 charges, basically, that almost face with and the accounts relating to that, without you having to have listened ukuthi what did uRamsipili say to Melo with regards to where Umusi was in this picture. How do you
can't
be
hear
able
again.
to say to remember the Simpiwe affidavit that Ukeninda read during the trial, within the trial, in that Kutani hospital, Kutani Street, so I'm enkazining lezi zinto zingisawuhlala nosisiphethe sonenzela izinto ey'ningi enzologanismo phela. But Kingi, all I'm saying is ukuthi Umnisi, if he wants to be a fall guy, this is his strategy that is being told, okay, take this one, this is what will work out for everyone, basically. It will buy them time, whatever that they want to do, whether for other witnesses to vanish or something like that, that's what will actually take them. Because even before, the way that they did it, Urata, that's why Urata will be very angry on Monday. And on Tuesday, guys, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, guys. Urata can just withdraw the cases, can just what this thing. And that, you know what, in the interest of justice, is state, because he feels played. You see, Urata is being played by the prosecutors as well as the defense lawyers. And Lento, because of what, because they will sit down in chambers, and promise things. And then once they promise him these things, and then all of a sudden they don't keep those things, promises. What then? Then babukisa ngaye in public. They hanging him. That's that. He was just trying to be saying, you know what, I'm being generous. We all were shocked what he allowed there and what Umshololo and them proposed. Why, if Umshololo, they propose on these things? I tell you what, guys, we know Utumnis was busy with another matter, a high court. And it lawyers, your life is public. As lawyers, your life is public, and you think now Utina was stupid. We say things. That's why you cannot be ready. Because there are other matters. I sort of the telescope with pink and unknown. But I'm just saying.
Yo, hayi Jabulo.
I'm just saying. Okay. So nilalela izinto nina lana. Uthi mina futhi, let me just do this thing. Let me do this thing. Because angifuni loke nithi man Shiba. When I Shiba siyangivumela. Awunankinga.
Khuluma sikubone.
Wena Shiba siyangivumela anginankinga. Because angifuni loke nithi yonke lento niyathutha njenwanga. It's nanso iyona ekhipha indaba la. Almond milk.
Angithi ndiyayazi.
Uyayazi wena? Mahani. Azish. Shibas, if you are delayed, it means all your matters must be delayed. Simple as that. It's either this matter shifted from being a priority amnesty, or maybe is not being paid. We all know other shenanigans that are happening. With legal aid, sometimes they don't pay them. Obalo has signed that order, this thing. If I'm a page is sector, 62,000. Where else they were in court, there's court record where they said it's 42,000. Now, for example, how will legal aid pay that? A 20,000 difference? They wouldn't pay that. 20,000 pages difference, that's another 200K. Legal aid did not anticipate that at some point on their own processes, they had said through Ramsey Bill, would no longer interested in assisting Usbia. Now, through that court and Nabo Balo and Nabo Rat, they fast track a process Yamgomezolo because Bona they wanted to address this thing. A case must continue as quickly as possible. And I happened to be there. One of few people that were saying, but no, that's not impossible. How is it possible that Omnisi can argue on all the other witnesses that have come and said things about Tumos? Uzungu alone is a mouthful. I think it's either Omnisi maybe is conscious or his ethics caught up with him and he says, you know what? I'm not prepared to do what you guys are saying that I must do if there's something else. But let me tell you something. It's not about him not being able to read, because we had confirmed with him, he confirmed in court that he had already completed reading. He was ready in a month's time. The fact that that thing did not happen, it means which there are spices that maybe Omnisi didn't want to take. That's one. Or there is issues of payment that has not been facilitated. So then Omnisi is not going to proceed. Mashiba, tell me, right, how if I'm your client, you've already paid me, how then can I say I'm pulling out? I can't pull out. It won't be that easy.
No, you can, but refund my money.
Yes, but you see,
You have done the work already for the money that I paid.
Exactly. Oh, guys, nampa being for nail. Nampa being for things. Wing, got right. Let's tell us she's. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jabs.
Yeah, because remember, also for reading what he has been doing these 2 months, he's going to put a bill. He won't read for free to prepare himself, to prepare. If he went for consultation, he'll put a bill. So he can pull out, but he won't pull out empty. He'll pull out having claimed some for what he did. But we
will pull out, but he won't pull out empty.
Yeah, I won't pull out empty. You'll be full.
Where are you going with this, sir? Where are you going with this, sir? Which pull out are we pulling now? What? Yeah!
Very why allow him to pull out?
Which pull out are we talking about now? Are we still pulling out on the case?
Cross the legs.
Mashiba. Even the children are crying there by rocking. What are you doing? Which pull out are you on about now, sir?
I'm muting. Sorry, Pinky.
How was bo? Leya yabo Wednesday when I rocking. Leya yabo Eddie Guerrero. Jehovah. Pinky, you were still on the floor with the pulling and pulling.
Yeah, I was just saying, Guti, he's already done work, so they already owe him illegal aid. Remember at the end of this is the second time we gather for him to give a date. We gathered first 2 weeks after they broke away, and that is when he came and said there's a lot of work, he would need 2 months. This time he will really come and he'll be ready. But my point is, by the end of the first time before we gathered 2 weeks after, already legal aid had been called to court and they had approved that he becomes the representative for Umuzi. You remember, Muzi wasn't even able to pay Mngomezulu according to what we saw from Mngomezulu, that he was now just working, I don't know, pro bono, because there were no financial instructions. The uncle had committed, the uncle hadn't come through. It was pro bono work that Mngomezulu had done. So the dilemma that we had at the end of the sudden loss of Mngomezulu was, will legal aid take up Umuzi, given that he had fired a legal aid lawyer? You know, he had his cake and he wanted it his way. He fired his legal aid lawyer, was Ramusipili, picked up Mngomezulu, who he needed to instruct personally out of his pocket, which gives an impression of means to pay a lawyer. So the crux was, will legal aid come to the rescue? Because the reality is Muzi is classified as someone who would be open to legal aid. So they came to the party at the end and they said they will cover him. The issue was now, which lawyer must he get? Does he get one of those existing? He was also free to get a new one. I think he motivated that he is okay with any one of the council. The discussion became about which one of the council, and we were wondering. Then we learned that it is Mnisi. So I'm feeling like, having gone all these steps, Mnisi he can't pull out now. He just has to go all the way. If it's a pregnancy, let it be. He can't pull out at this moment. He has taken us too long away.
This word, pull out.
We've walked a long way.
Umeshiba, women are uncomfortable with this pull out when
So if it's pregnant, it's pregnant.
No!
We deal with it. We buy Pampers.
We'll donate.
But Pinky, one thing that we must also remember is that Umuzi never actually went back to legal aid to request ukuthi they must take him in. They offered. After they threatened, if you guys remember, after they threatened that it could be that he might not be able to get assistance ever in future. The next thing, we are told today that Mgo passed away. The following day, they were ready to say, and it was Rata who was talking. They were ready to say, you know what, on Friday, legal aid is closing. They want to know if you want them to
but they can't offer when you have not made when you have not you have to concede or consent to the request. They can't just come to you and say, Noni, you qualify, we are here.
But that's what they did, my dear. It happened in Mashiba, please assist me. It happened in court, guys. That's what they did.
No, Muzi still had a choice. Whether they did whatever, still had a choice to agree or disagree.
No. It's not about him and his choice, name. I'm not saying he didn't have a choice. I'm saying weird things that are happening. They once threatened that he might not ever get assistance. Chiki, now they are offering him.
Yeah, they did that, but for me, it was for his advantage. If they stuck to their guns to say, we told you previously we're not going to represent you, then what? He was not going to have a lawyer because he doesn't seem to have money anymore.
No.
Unless
I
another lawyer
understand
comes
that all of that,
pro bono.
Shibas. I understand all of that. I'm just saying that because now it looks like, to me, by the way, it looks like now it's a situation of here is the meat, sitaba nemali in. Do you understand? So we can toy around with you. I'm going back to a point of I'm going to a point of they could have at that time allowed Muzi to get a lawyer from them, a new lawyer from them, not these ones that are busy with the case, because now it's still the same thing that we need a new lawyer.
It was his choice, remember, Noni. Because Urata made him stand also and asked him, oh, it's up to you, what will you do? And what came out, I recall, the uncle could no longer afford to pay. He was agreeing that I need legal aid. And then the decision was now on, do you want these ones or do you want a new one? He asked the question, am I allowed to choose a lawyer or as in one of these? First he said a lawyer of my choice. Then they asked him, what do you mean? You can't tell legal aid which one to give you. Then he says, among the ones that are there. So it was his choice.
No, it's not him who said among
legal aid coming
these
on
ones.
board. Legal aid coming on board is in the interest of justice. The other, I don't think would Babe Sona or they done wrong. They were really saving him because otherwise he would be unrepresented if they'd given up on him and his uncle cannot afford. The case would have delayed further because he would say, I have no instructions, so I must do whatever. Give me some time till I get money. In the end, maybe they'd have separated those cases and left his case alone, which is what I think they could explore. In this case, if it's anything to help, I don't know. Because it may take very long. If there's no clarity Tuesday and it keeps extending, or he needs a new lawyer who says, I need 7 months, then the others can plead for a different trial on their own. On that.
You know, when they say Nisi is having a strategy and all those things, what if Rata asked him how long you want, maybe he said a month, and Rata agreed? Was he going to have another strategy to come back after a month and say, I'm not ready again?
Yeah, you're so angry today.
No, I just feel Munisi could have done better. That's, and I'm not saying he must force and because he's not ready, he must just force and represent when he's not ready. But like Bingy said, he knew the amount of work way before today. Why couldn't he just communicate? Even if they have a special sitting to say, hey guys, I thought 2 months would be enough, but you know what? After I went through this work in the past 3 weeks, I realized this is going to take more time. What is the best way to go forward? They agree somewhere in March, maybe. Then we know when you come back, you're ready. Because even now, he's not confident to show that he will be ready anytime soon. At least that's how I could see him. I might be wrong, but that's just my view. It doesn't seem like he's ready or he'll be ready anytime soon. If only Rata asked him, how long do you want? That would have clarified certain things. But unfortunately,
now I'm leaving. I need to go.
If you keep asking him how long you want,
other things to do.
he will tell you whatever you want, and then the case will
courts.
continue and
I'll
continue with postponement.
When
That won't
I
help
see you.
anyone. At some point, this has to end. Whether in favor of the accused or not, but it has to end. There's no way case can run this long.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Well, we are still living on state case. Just imagine.
Bye-bye, guys.
So, yeah, that's just